Welcome back, Internet neighbors. I'm reporting in once again with another round of Princess Crown. We're not really going to make any progress in the story today. We're just going to wrap up some side quests in the Low Grove and Cemetereth areas. For example, this little girl tells us about a priest who recently moved to the area from Cemetereth. So let's go have a chat with that priest, see what his deal is. Well, the priest, it seems, was kicked out of his home in Cemetereth by a poltergeist that is now inhabiting the area. And Gradriel, as we know, is an incurable do-gooder, so she's not going to let that stand. We're going to go take care of the poltergeist. Now, nothing really important happens on the trip back to Cemetereth, so I am just going to edit that out as soon as we get out of town here. And here we are. Oh, he's a big boy. Nice block animation. Now, the poltergeist, in addition to that sort of spectral breath and the usual ghostly fireball attacks, being a poltergeist has a lot of attacks involving manipulation of objects. Now, of course, you can block or dodge these, but you can also usually destroy them with your sword. Although the timing on that can be kind of tricky. Also, the poltergeist, being very good at the whole floating thing, does never actually fall down. So he's got that animation where he reinflates himself instead of a knockdown. Kind of neat touch. And I'm not really sure how I just knock meat out of a ghost, but I'll take it. Ghost Burger. Burger makes me feel good. This rocking horse is really determined to hit me. There. Oh! The falling chests can kind of catch me off guard at times, as you can see. A lot of times they contain bombs, but every now and then they'll actually have a useful item in them. So the poltergeist can inadvertently help you out every now and then. Blap! Well, we've got the poltergeist down to no hit points, but it appears we're not done quite yet. He's gonna possess this wooden doll and, dick around with us a little bit more. In the future, we'll encounter poltergeists as regular random encounters, and they will not have this second form. Ah, gold scroll. That's a fun little item. I'm gonna grab it, getting pizza cuttered in the process, and I will demo it the next time we get into a random fight. I'm not sure if it works on what are technically bosses, so we'll hold off on it for right now. Well, we've taken some damage during the poltergeist phase, and we take some more during this phase, but overall, another fairly minor boss, really nowhere near as big a problem as the dragon. Oh! Just just got Pinocchio'd into the dirt there. We'll have no more of that, thank you. The red staff there summons 3 daggers and flings them at the enemy. It's slower than just throwing a normal dagger because it has to summon them out of the air, but on the other hand, there are 3 of them. Well, now that we've finished off the poltergeist, this ghost comes out and invites us to the pumpkin house, where he and other relatively peaceful ghosts hang out. First thing we want to do is check on the priest, though, and we have to exit the town and then come back before the priest moves in. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, let's go check out the priest's house. Which this is not. I don't have any translation for what this ghost is talking about. He offers something for 15 gold, but I don't really know what the story is there. And on the subject of ghosts, as you've seen before, you can chop these spectral fireballs out of the air, but the timing on it is pretty tricky. It's generally safer just to block, or to action select through them. The swirly rod there is wind, which just blows enemies away from you. Now here's the gold scroll in action. It turns enemies into solid gold, and you can chop them into coins. It's not actually very useful in terms of combat purposes, because you don't do very much damage to the golden enemies, and they turn back relatively quickly. But you do get some extra money out of it, so yay for that. As I was saying, the swirly wand is wind, which blows enemies apart from you without actually hurting them, but if you need to create some distance, it can be handy for that. There's one of the ghost's fancier attacks. You can summon a sort of widow spirit to give you a little additional hassle. And you can also try and read your soul. Oh wow, Arya gets credit for her kill. That's something you don't see terribly often. Oh hey, he had a soup pot. Let's see. Well, I do have some soup mix, and I have some raw meat. So let's make some meatball soup. Yummy! Meatball soup is pretty awesome. It gives you good healing, just like eating cooked meat, but it also gives you a power boost for a substantial chunk of time. Anyway, time to check in with the priest. Now that the poltergeist is out of the way, he can open up his shop, and he has some basic stuff, but there's the Holy Scroll and the Holy Water, both of which are combat items that do tons of damage to undead and respectable damage to demons. We'll hold off for now, but his wares may come in handy later. Anyway, if we go south here, that'll put us on the path to the pumpkin house that we were invited to by that ghost that showed up after the poltergeist fight. What's a dodo doing in the graveyard? Well, no matter, we've taken down his like many a time before, and we'll take him down again. After I managed to embarrass myself mildly, as usual. Geez, I'm really doing bad with an incredibly minor enemy here. Ooh, I think what he was about to do there was call for help. If a dodo manages to get its call off, you will be stampeded by dodos, which can actually hurt you a fair bit. I'm sure we'll see that happen at least once before the game's through. Well, here we are at the pumpkin house, and you can chat with the ghosts in here. They don't have anything useful to say, really. They just tell you about cursed items and about the Holy Scroll, all stuff we've already talked about. And the ghoul here just scares the crap out of Gradriel while the bartender tells him not to frighten the customers. Now, the important thing about visiting the pumpkin house is that it is a pub. And being a pub, it has a special. And so if we want to get the prize for ordering all of the specialty foods in the game, we do have to stop here and purchase some toasted corn. Oh, ghosts, what can't you do? That's really all there is to do with the pumpkin house, but there is one other thing we can take a look at while we're in the neighborhood. I'm not talking about the Myconid. The swirly potion is a pretty good one. It's a painkiller. What that means is, while you'll take normal damage from hits, you will not be stunned. It totally negates hit stun and makes you very hard to knock down as well. So you can kind of wade through enemies' attacks and keep whacking them. It can be handy for boss fights. A lot of shrooms in this graveyard. Speaking of shrooms, it was pointed out in the comments that I never explained what the mushrooms do that monsters sometimes drop. They will max out your power for a while. They have actually the same effect as milk, if you buy milk from the farm in Low Grove or find it elsewhere. But milk can be consumed very quickly, like hamburgers, whereas mushrooms take a normal amount of time to eat. I will admit I am rather charmed by Gradriel's level-up dance. Here's what we were looking for. Gradriel's reading the door and finding that it says this is a place where evil spirits have been sealed. I wonder if that's the gate to the spirit world that the unicorn tormenting busty sorceress was talking about. Well, it could be, but in any case, we couldn't open it if we wanted to. So we're just going to head on back toward Cemetereth and back on toward Lowgrove. Well, actually, no, we have one other stop to make, but all in good time. Ghouls really are a pain. They're probably one of the nastier regular random encounters at this part of the game. Now that pendant, that is a nice piece of equipment. It reduces damage by 50%, and I have no idea why I didn't pick it up. Maybe I'd forgotten what it did at the time. Oh well, it's off to the Goblin Market now. Damn it. So, corner trapped and OTG'd. This is not Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Ghoul. Yes, we've had quite enough of your shenanigans. Zombie Toast, leave this place. But this is our house! We'll just cut to another ghoul fight that happened on the way back to Cemetereth. Another one that goes fairly poorly for me. But I do get a fish out of it. As with so many of the food items in this game and their strange origins, I'm not real sure I would want to consume a fish that I found raw on a rotting corpse, but, you know, any port in the storm, I suppose. That's another thing the ghouls can pull on you. They sometimes sink into the earth and then can stab right up underneath you with their reappearance on the pike there. I'm really kind of in a bad way here. Well, that'll help somewhat. Oh, as you'll see here, if you plant a seed during combat, but then you end the combat, it will still sprout afterward. Let's make another cut there to where I gain a level on the way back. And now that I have full hit points from the level up, Seems like a good time to do some eating and get a few extra maximum HP. I don't think you're supposed to eat the cob, Gradriel. Anyway, now we're back on the path between Drangora and Cemetereth, and we can go and fight that dragon that swallowed the piece of the legendary musical score. We've got some decent equipment, and we've gained a few levels since our last dragon fight. I think I'm up to it. Oh, Frogger. I love that game. Froggers are rather fast, they dodge quite well, but they have generally unimpressive attacks, and they have some of the lowest HP in the game. So, although they can be hard to hit, it doesn't take too many hits to actually bring them down. Yeah, stop dodging. Ah! Will you die already? Thank you. Oh, awesome. He had a pan. We've been needing one of those. Well, we've got lots of raw ingredients and lots of seasoning, so time to do some cooking. Some fish. And we'll roast up some corn. One good corn deserves another. And finally, we've got an egg. So we'll just fry that on up, and, Gradriel. Dear heart, you know I love you, but how the blue fuck do you smash a cast iron skillet with an egg? That goes a level beyond cooking ineptitude and into superpowers, I think. Anyway, we have reached the Dragon's Cave, and that's going to be our first dungeon. Dungeon maps in Princess Crown are generally not terribly complex. They always have a layout that can fit on one of those box layouts like you just saw when I checked the map. And usually they don't have too many twists and turns. Holy water? Sure. Why not? Beardman's here to slay the dragon and take the musical score. I'm afraid he's got another thing coming. I can't help but be a little amused with the way he just tries to lob a throwing axe at you. It doesn't seem like the most effective technique. Scattered here and there through many dungeons, you'll find treasure rooms like this. There's rarely anything too exciting in them, but, you know, maybe you can find something useful every now and then. You know, for being a place where you're expected to fight a fully healthy dragon, this cave has pretty minor random encounters. Really, the enemies around Cemetereth were a good deal harder. As you would expect from looking at the map, we just need to get ourselves down to the bottom floor of the dungeon, and there we will find our quarry. Cold ring. We've already got one, but considering we're fighting an enemy with a large array of fire attacks, large repertoire of fire attacks, I should say, at the end of this dungeon, couldn't hurt to have a spare. Not to mention a new pot to replace the one we broke on an eggshell. That's better. And we do have a non-trivial fight coming up, so we might as well do some eating and increase our max HP. Plenty of stuff to do it with. Fish and egg and corn. It's a regular subterranean banquet. Okay. Once we polish off this Myconid, we'll just need to go down one more floor, and from there it should be smooth sailing. Well, aside from tangling with the big pissed-off dragon that's completely healthy, whereas the one that nearly killed us before was wounded. But let's not try to think too hard about things like that. Okay, exit scroll. That does exactly what you'd expect if you've ever played an RPG in your life. You know, instant warp out of a dungeon. Okay, we're almost there. Hey, of course it's cursed. Why wouldn't it be? Now, cursed items typically do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to, so since the cold ring is supposed to increase our resistance to fire, we are now extra vulnerable to fire. And fighting a dragon with a full complement of hit points. That's super. Yeah, that'll hurt. That'll hurt a lot. Yeah. I'm gonna try not to let myself run on fumes, you know, quite down to the wire before healing. And also, hey, Dragon Beast. More dragon meat. Gimme. I'll put down something. Oh, come on, I want that exit scroll back. Come on, let me rejigger my inventory here. Free up some space. Can't drop that because it's cursed. Oh! Oh, there goes my exit scroll. Well, all things considered, there have certainly been the usual comedies of errors, but really this fight isn't going too badly. And it looks like it's just about over. Ah. Note to self, never get cocky. One more hit ought to do it. About time. Oh, I guess it didn't actually swallow the piece of the legendary musical score. Well, the important thing is we've got it. Now, since I lost my exit scroll, I'm going to have to walk back out of the dungeon and back to Lowgrove. I'm not going to subject you to that, so we'll call it a day here and pick up next time getting ready to leave Lowgrove. This is Un. It's been good having you along, and I will see you again soon. Till then.